The world is in the midst of an economic downturn.
Certainly, a global recession is a major risk.
President Biden is meeting with Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell today for a rare face-to-face discussion in the Oval Office.
For the past few years, inflation has been reaching new heights across the globe. As we head further into 2023, the domestic economy is becoming a major cause for concern. Many industries around the world have increased the prices of commodities due to supply chain problems and a host of other factors, leading to the highest levels of inflation in recent times. Low wages, high unemployment, rising prices, deteriorating financial conditions, Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and many other factors have made 2022 a year to forget for the economy. Currently, global food and oil prices are at an all-time high, leaving many to wonder whether things could get even worse. The world economy is indicating a downturn, and several notable figures, including Elon Musk, have warned of an impending recession in the United States. As one of the wealthiest people on the planet and a business icon, Musk's warning is one that cannot be ignored. What has he said this time, and what are the causes and potential severity of this upcoming economic downturn? To know the answers to all these alarming questions, join us in today's video as we unravel everything about Musk's latest warnings and the looming recession. Throughout history, economic recessions have caused harm to individuals and businesses globally. Governments at all levels usually take action to avoid economic downturns, but they are not always successful. Despite having occurred numerous times, why does the constant risk of economic recessions persist? What are the root causes of these recessions and what impact do they have? The economy has cycles of highs and lows, similar to waves in the ocean. It reaches its peak, declines, and then rises again. During the growth phase, it is referred to as economic growth. Conversely, when it declines, it is known as economic contraction or downturn. It's like a game of dominoes. When one falls, it sets off a chain reaction that can't be stopped, eventually leading to an economic downturn. Every event is intertwined with what came before and what comes next. For example, if the price of hamburgers rise, you might cut back on your burger purchases, which would then affect the restaurant and the servers. These kinds of connections are spread throughout the economy. Unfortunately, the dominoes leading toward the next recession have already started falling. And the question is, when will they stop? Last year, the first domino to fall in this economic cycle was a surge in prices, otherwise known as inflation. Inflation continued to worsen throughout 2021, leading to higher prices for everything from car parts to household goods. Despite the efforts of the White House and Federal Reserve to control inflation, their actions seemed to have little effect. They knew the price hikes were causing a chain reaction that could harm the economy, but were still caught off guard as prices kept going up. The Federal Reserve, as the primary authority responsible for curbing inflation, decided to raise interest rates in March of last year, the first such move since the pandemic began. The intention was to discourage spending by making borrowing more expensive. Initially, it appeared to have worked, and many hoped that inflation would slow down. However, the prolonged invasion of Ukraine by Russia created a host of economic issues that picked up new momentum and reignited inflation. This in turn led to the falling of more dominoes and the splintering of a single chain of events into two fast-moving chains. The first chain reaction was the stock market taking a significant tumble, erasing a lot of wealth in a short time frame, which can be an indicator of an impending recession. Meanwhile, companies and consumers began to feel increasingly anxious about the future. Such economic anxiety can make people decide to stop spending and hold on to their money, which can help reduce inflation. However, this didn't happen this time around, as the rising gas prices caused by Russia's invasion made the cost of many other things skyrocket, and the risk of recession increased accordingly. Amid the rising anxiety about an impending recession, some companies are already preparing for cutbacks as prices continue to climb and the Fed hikes rates to counter inflation. The situation seems precarious, and now a new voice has entered the conversation, none other than the famed entrepreneur Elon Musk. Known for his ambitious ventures, Musk has issued a stark warning about an economic hurricane that's about to hit in 2023. Far more potent than the 2007 to 2009 recession. This has made economists and investors take note of his prediction, urging them to brace for impact by saving cash, avoiding debt, and taking fewer risks. In a recent episode of the All In podcast, Musk cautioned it does seem like we're headed into a recession here in 2023. My best guess is that we have stormy times for a year and a half and then dawn breaks roughly in Q2 2024. The Tesla, Twitter, and SpaceX CEO also noted that the severity of the upcoming economic downturn is uncertain, but he warned that it has the potential to rival the 2009 recession that followed the housing bubble burst. Elon Musk urged investors to prepare for tough times by setting aside cash and making smart investment decisions without resorting to borrowed funds. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Don't get too adventurous. From a cash standpoint, keep powder dry, said the technology billionaire. He further cautioned against taking unnecessary risks and accumulating margin debt, especially in a volatile stock market. If there's mass panic in the stock market, then you've got to really be careful about margin debt, he added. And the recession alarm bells have been ringing loud and clear for Elon Musk in recent weeks, as he warns that the Federal Reserve's rapid interest rate hikes have made the possibility of a severe downturn all the more likely. To combat rising inflation, the central bank has been raising rates from almost zero in March last year to over 5% today, with indications they could exceed 6 to 7% next year. While the hike rates can help to ease upward pressure on prices by discouraging spending, borrowing, and hiring, they can also cause asset prices to plummet, reduce corporate profits, and push the economy towards recession. However, Musk believes that after a 14-year-long economic expansion, the US economy is overdue for a recession, as he suggested during the podcast. He further stated that this recession will likely worsen before it gets better. However, he reminds us that recessions are not always bad news. They serve as a much-needed economic enema that clears out the misallocation of capital that occurs during boom times. When money rains on fools, it creates a situation where people are doing silly things that don't benefit society. A recession is an opportunity for companies to reassess and focus on producing useful products, while the weaker companies go bankrupt. Musk emphasizes the importance of running a company prudently and not getting too close to the edge from a capital standpoint. In the case of a financial meltdown in America, Musk has also given a few essential suggestions for surviving this storm. He said that the most important thing is that we are supposed to learn the difference between short-term inflation and long-term inflation. Another suggestion that he gave was to own physical assets such as a home or apartment instead of keeping money with you in the form of currency. So he suggested the investors put their money into something which can make it safe for the future and spend it wisely during this time. He also said that the reason behind this suggestion was that the prices of such physical assets are expected to increase during price hikes, so there are significantly less chances of facing loss. The past weeks have seen more than one economic heavyweight sounding the recession alarm. Jeff Bezos, Amazon's founder and executive chairman, has joined Elon Musk in warning of an impending recession. Bezos has recently advised Americans to prepare for a rough ride by taking fewer risks and holding off big-ticket purchases to save money. Adding to these warnings, the World Bank has also issued a cautionary note in its annual Global Economic Prospects report, stating that the global economy is on the verge of a recession. The report has slashed the growth forecast for 2023 from 3% to 1.7%, the third weakest pace of growth ever projected by the organization, behind the pace recorded during the 2009 and 2020 recessions. Furthermore, the US is expected to have a real GDP growth of 0.5% in 2023, while the European Union won't grow, and emerging markets and developing economies, which includes countries like India 6.6% and Russia minus 3.3%, but excludes China 4.3%, are expected to grow 2.7%. However, these growth projections have been reduced because inflation rates have led to worsening financial conditions, an energy crisis, and economic shockwaves due to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. World Bank President David Malpass recommended investing in creating new jobs, better cross-border trade, and improved energy access to address these issues and prevent a recession. He also stressed the need for significant reforms to be implemented immediately. The World Bank report is more pessimistic than projections released in October by the International Monetary Fund, IMF, which also downgraded its forecast for the global economy in its biannual report due to worsening inflation and disruptions caused by the war in Ukraine. Despite these challenges, Malpass urged against defeatism and suggested finding ways to move forward. So what's on the horizon? There are two plausible scenarios that could unfold. On one hand, the Federal Reserve could execute its plan flawlessly and prevent a recession from taking hold. By slowing down the economy without triggering a full-blown contraction, businesses might not have to lay off more workers, inflation could ease, and consumer confidence could be restored. But on the other hand, there's a chance that a chain reaction could be triggered, causing a cascading effect. If companies lay off employees, those families may cut back on spending, which in turn could lead to further layoffs and intensify the cycle, a scenario where the dominoes fall uncontrollably. The big question on everyone's mind is what direction the economy will take in the coming months. The future is uncertain, and only time can reveal if the Federal Reserve can successfully curb inflation and bring stability to the economy. The central bank has planned to increase interest rates significantly this year, and early signs suggest that these measures are having a positive effect. While the housing market is slowing down, it is not experiencing a complete crash. Certain segments of the job market are also showing signs of a slowdown, even though there are no reports of mass layoffs yet. Despite these efforts, inflation is still on the rise, and the consequences are causing a ripple effect. Although policymakers are hopeful that this chain of events will stabilize eventually, they remain unsure about when and how that will happen. Now let's hear your thoughts about this current global situation in the comments section below.